Hello guys, welcome to another episode of the Urban Garden 2020. Just want to say it's been a little while since I've done a video. Been really busy with work, our schedule's changed and we're just wide open. So with getting acclimated to my new schedule and trying to keep everything up around the house at the same time, I haven't taken the time to make any videos. So I'm gonna go through today, show you some updates on everything, just a quick overview of where we're at, and hopefully we can get back started with some of our how-to videos and some videos on what we're doing in the future. So without further ado, let's look around the yard and see what we've got growing. Okay guys, so first up are our sunflowers we planted, and some of them have bloomed out very nicely. You can see here just around the tree I put them in the flower bed, and I haven't really fertilized them or watered them much. I think I watered them one time when I was watering my other plants, maybe twice, but they're up really nice size, and you know, they're blooming out, so they're looking good. Here we have our Fresno chili, and I don't know if you can see in the video, but it's just loaded with little chilies everywhere and a lot of blooms. Here's another Fresno chili beside it. It has some larger chilies. If you look at that, they're just all looking really good. Here is a purple bell pepper, and it's again, you know, loaded with bell peppers, or some in the back there. All of our pepper plants are starting to do very well. Here's another Fresno chili, and it's got peppers just everywhere on it. Kind of see them all around there. Here is a Cajun bell pepper, and it's loaded with peppers too. So another Cajun bell here, or actually this is just regular green bell pepper, so I think it doesn't have the little tag in it, so I'm not sure. Over here you can see these banana peppers. They're just huge, loaded all over, and it's you know, right at the end of May. You can see the jalapenos in the back there. They're just loaded down, and some of the poblanos and anchos there. You know, we've had some cool spells and the peppers kind of lagged, so they took a little bit to start producing, but now it's, you know, in the mid to upper 80s most days, a lot of 90s, so the peppers are really starting to put out. Our banana tree that we transplanted is doing well. The African lily that we overwintered inside is doing well. And if you remember, all of these peppers here, we overwintered in the garage. We trimmed them back a little bit and put them in, left them in the planters that they're in, and just put them in the garage, moved them out on the sunny days or warm days when it rained, and kept them a little moist. So they did pretty well, considering. So we'll probably do the same thing next year, and then we will look at maybe putting them in the ground next spring. So, you know, I don't want to push my luck with them in planters, and for having them 2 seasons and maybe a 3rd season with good production, I think we'll, you know, definitely got our money's worth out of them, and we've started to collect some pepper seeds, so we'll be able to just keep going. So here are our tomatoes, and they've really struggled with the cool spells. And we have several different types here, some cherries, some beefsteak, and some other heirloom tomatoes. I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tomatoes overall. And then 2 small peppers. Those are some habanada peppers, that one and that one. And we've got some loofah sponge there, and a loofah sponge and bean there. So the cool weather really stunted those. I tried to put them out pretty early. I lost a lot of tomatoes in my starter tray because I let it dry out, so that was my mistake. But now that the warm weather's here, we're almost ready to start staking these tomatoes up because they're starting to push up. And with the rain, they're definitely going to go through a growth spell here. Probably in the next week, they'll just really put up and put on. So here's another sunflower transplant right in front of our beehive, and it's grown up. It's taller than I am, counting the planter, of course, so it's probably close to 6 foot tall. Here's our, let's see, this is our pineapple plum, our pineapple pear. Back there we have our sugar pear. It hasn't put out yet, but I've scratched the surface of the bark, and it's still really green and it has buds on it, so I'm just waiting for it to start coming out. I think when we transplanted it before it had leafed out, probably put it into a little bit of shock, and it stayed in its dormant phase to protect itself. But here is the beehive, and we've got some sugar water up there. We're feeding them. They haven't found it yet because I just filled it up. Oh, there are some bees humming around. They probably can smell the sugar. But here the little bad boys are, and you can get a little close-up view of them. I mean, the bees are surprisingly docile. They're not very aggressive. I opened up the hive. I open it up once to twice a week, and I start out with my gloves on, but I haven't used a veil yet, and honestly, I take my gloves off unless I'm like really moving frames around. And you can see some of the bees as they land. They'll have little pockets of yellow on their back haunches and on their back legs, and that is pollen. So they're bringing in the pollen, bringing in nectar. And even though it rained most yesterday, and I think a little bit last night, they're really active this morning. So when it rains, you know, the pollen, everything's wet, and the bees can't extract it very well. But you saw that one. He had a lot of pollen on his back legs, and there went another one, and they're just busy, in and out, in and out, in and out. So I'm probably going to open up the hive later, and we may actually add our second brood chamber on top for them, so that soon we can add our flow hive and start getting our honey, hopefully by the end of the season. But we're going to let them keep building their own brood and honey chambers, so you know they'll have plenty for this year, this fall and winter, and we'll go from there. So there's our little sod spot we put out with some I think that's emerald zoysia. So we're trying to get it to grow, so we'll have a nice little garden spot here. And there's our fire pit we built. We have our little gnome village there welcoming everyone. And our mulberry tree over there. The birds just came through and cleaned it out. I mean, they were literally just loaded down with berries. And now the green ones start to turn, and as soon as they start to turn pink or purplish, the birds just gobble them up. So they are definitely, we're helping Mother Nature along, the wildlife and all of God's creatures. Just keep on giving it to the next, paying it forward. So, okay, here is our Thornless Blackberry, and I want you to look at this because I didn't know if it would put out much this year, and we may not have a mass quantity, but look at the size of that blackberry. I mean, it's as big or bigger than my thumb. I mean, they're huge, and there are several of them, and I haven't fertilized them or anything to speak of. This morning I put out some organics, tomato and fruit and vegetable fertilizer, just some dry granules, but you can see these blackberries are just huge. So, and then behind it there is our fig tree on the other side of the fence, and there are a lot of little figs budding out. You can see their starters, and you can look right there and see them. And the fig tree is doing very well. Unfortunately, our cuttings, they started to leaf out, and then they just stunted and stopped, and I'm not sure, we had some issues there, so we'll try again later. But our primary fig tree is doing very well. And you look around the yard, you can see, you know, the flowers are coming out, all the lilies are starting to put out, the palms are doing well down there. There's some canna lilies down in the little ditch down there. So all in all, everything's looking very good. And we got a late start on most things, or most things were a little stunted due to the late cool snaps. I mean, it was just a little odd, you know, for Alabama. We had going into May, you know, there were many days it stayed in the 60s, and you know, like a whole week at a time, it would just be really cool. So we just didn't get that, you know, great jump where it's just really warm weather. And to start the spring, we'll go around front. If I can get my gate open with one hand. There we go. All right. So let's see. Here we have a oh, what is this? A honeysuckle that we've got in a planter, and it was just one little vine up, and now it's several. So we'll come on along, and here's the back side. All these anchos or poblanos, whatever they are. We've got our cayennes, the jalapenos back here. More of the, I think those are anchos or something. And then again, all of the banana peppers. These being so close, I can't guarantee these banana peppers are not going to have a little heat with them, because I'm pretty sure there's been some cross-pollination with the cayenne and jalapeno. So there's our camellia plant, pink camellia. The banana tree is doing well. Again, there's the African lily. There's a little banana sprout I dug up. It's still hanging on, so we'll see. And then there's the fig cuttings. You can see they started with some little flower-like or little leaves right here, and then they just turned brown and died. And if I scratch the surface, it's still a green. So I'm not sure if they just went into a dormant phase. But yeah, I scratched the surface and the one's green. The second one has a little green behind it, so I'm not real sure why those two are not budded out, but the stalks are green underneath the bark. Now our blueberry cuttings did not do too well. They got some little buds on them, but never did really do any more. Now we planted 2 blueberry bushes, a pink lemonade blueberry right there. It sprouted out or leafed out more, and it's coming along well. And then right there's a traditional blueberry that seems to be doing pretty well also. And then there's our onion that we threw away. It was just part of an onion, and she really just grew in this little compost tub that I just started throwing some food scraps and, you know, ash from my grill and things, and it just boom blew up. So, you know, you can see that. Nope. So we'll walk on around here and just check some things out. One of the gardenias there's bloomed a little bit. So I love the gardenias. They're just so fragrant and really nice. The white flowers do wilt back a little bit in the heat, but that's fine. The rose bush is just exploding as usual. And then some more lilies along the retaining wall coming up the drive. The crepe myrtles are all doing well, so we're going to take some cuttings from them. The yard is okay-ish. I think the tree getting uprooted down at the end. We still have some grass coming in, and then our sod that we put out in some places, trying to get this just mixed grass yard converted over to zoysia without you know, me having to spend a fortune to resod the entire lawn. So I've been getting a few squares of sod, and I just dig out a spot, put it in, and slowly but surely I think it will take over. So anyway, that's around the yard what we're looking like, and you know, looks like it's going to be a bountiful year. Should have a good harvest of peppers and tomatoes. Hopefully we get some some pears. And anyway, thank you guys for watching. Keep on tuning in. Remember, like this video, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and share the video with friends. And we'll try to get some more how-tos and some DIY videos. I'm thinking of adding a little fountain somewhere with a big pool reservoir at the bottom. So, and I've solar pump, so I'm starting to gather some more you know, resources for that. We've got our 55-gallon drum and our kiddie pool that we'll probably use for the reservoir at the bottom. Then we'll just purchase a fountain, set everything up. So that's going to be one of our summer projects. and yard's looking nice back here. Anyway, you guys have a great day. Have a good Memorial Day. Thank you to all the troops that gave, their lives so that we could enjoy days like today, weekends like this weekend coming up, and just keep on keeping on. Not a political statement, but just reminding everybody, keep social distancing, and if you haven't been vaccinated, get vaccinated. I got the 1 shot a couple of weeks ago, and I'm doing fine. No side effects, no chip or tracking involved, I don't believe. So, they say the biggest tracking device you own is your phone. So, anyway, to all the paranoid people out there, be a little less paranoid, get vaccinated, and, let's just be healthy, be safe. You guys keep digging it, and have a great Memorial Day weekend. Thank you, guys.